And hey, and good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And I want to thank you all for being a part of the show today. Oh, looks like I'm having a hard time making things stop here. So thank you, folks, for being a part of the show today. It is Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Hump Day here in Las Vegas. And the weather's beautiful. And this is just fantastic weather here in Las Vegas. So we are, it's Hump Day. It's Wednesday. Uh, I actually drove my wife to work this morning. So went and drove the wife to work this morning. I have not seen her in quite a while, as a matter of fact. It's just kind of frustrating that you don't get to see your wife as much as you want to. So I did get to see her this morning, which was great. I was very excited about seeing her. And we talked a little bit and talked about planning and this stuff and that stuff. She's actually one of my board members for an organization that I'm a part of. And so you kind of catch up before you leave. And you know what the best part about driving your spouse to work is the last thing I see of my wife in the mornings is I get to actually just see her just smile. So, which is really cool. So, so on the show today, we're going to talk a little bit about blogging. We're going to talk about financing your business. I'm very excited about that, especially because and many of you are in the same place. You're a startup business. You're you're just getting out there. You've maybe figuring out, where do I find money? Where do I find capital? All that stuff. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. We're also going to talk about, as I said before, we're going to talk about blogging. As a matter of fact, we'll start off the show about this blog because this was an amazing story. Let me pull that up really quick because if I don't, I will forget. Yeah, there's a guy. His name is Jeff Rose, and Jeff Rose was offered $10 million for his blog. $10 million. I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff. I have a cup of coffee here. So he was offered $10 million for his blog. This is actually from Entrepreneur Magazine. And Jeff was offered $10 million for his blog. The project he started as a marketing vehicle for his financial planning business. And many of us do that. You know, we start something that we think is going to be, we've got a main business, but we got to advertise. We got to market it some way. So we start something that will market that business. And in his case, though, it turned into something pretty big. He was a financial planner. His initial investment was $509 into a property, and he parlayed that thing into a property worth $10 million. His initial cost for his blog was $12 for the domain, $60 for hosting for the year. So $60. Yeah, so it's probably a really nice blog though for $60. $237 for the website themes, and $200 for a custom logo and header. From there, he wrote, edited, and published blog posts as often as he could. His advice for growing a blog, and this is where you want to go to, folks. I'm going to listen to this guy because I write a blog all the time. I write all the time, which is fun. So here are some tips. If you want to build something that is going to be significant, that possibly could be something really significant, the first thing he said, if you want to grow your blog, number one, flex your BIs, your bold intentions. Rose advises keeping your big goals in mind. When he started, Rose's intention was not to simply start a blog, but to create the best financial planner blog ever. Okay, so really, you've got to be flexible. So don't just kind of, keep your goals in mind. You've got to just kind of figure out, okay, what do I want to do? How big do I want it to be? I want it to be big. That's kind of like what we want to do with Black Success Magazine. If you look up Black Success Magazine, you will find that we are the only ones listed for Black Success Magazine. And you can look for our blog all over the place. You will find it everywhere. Not just here in Las Vegas, not just in California or West Coast. We are literally national right now, where you can find, especially this podcast. This podcast is like everywhere. I went and looked for it yesterday. I found this thing everywhere, which tells you something, that people really want to hear what we have to say. And they really want to be inspired, that kind of thing. So, make it big, make it bold. Number two, build something bigger than you. While Rose initially started his blog as a marketing tool, he came to understand how to use the blog to reach and impact people. A setback due to a loss of site traffic resulting from a Google algorithm update helped Rose take a step back and recommit himself to doing more to help people, which he did, starting a YouTube channel, a podcast, and writing for other financial sites. And literally, we were doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, we were actually approached by a manufacturer yesterday, a clothing manufacturer yesterday, and they said, "Hey, we'd love for you guys to be our brand ambassadors, and we'd love for you to wear our clothes and tell everybody how cool we are." And you never know, it might work out to be something that we want to do. But you've just got to build something bigger than who you are. So what we'll do is we're going to take a really short break here. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. We'll be back in just a minute to talk a little bit more about this blog that this guy wrote, and we'll be back in just a second. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here, folks. All right. And good morning, everybody. I've got a pen, which is a great looking pen, doesn't work. Can you believe that? We'll find it out. I got pens all over the table. All right, there we go. Well, thank you for being part of the show today, folks. We've got some good stuff that we're going to talk about today. I'm really forward to it, especially tomorrow. We've got a great show up tomorrow. Got to tell you all about that tomorrow, too. And we are back, folks. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the show today. A little bit of blues in the background there. And we were talking a little bit today as we got started here, talking about a guy by the name of Jeff Rose. And Jeff actually started a blog that he built into a $10 million enterprise. I mean, this is just a fantastic story. I love this story. So Jeff talks about what he did in order to make this happen. This is one of those rags to riches stories, but I think something we can all learn from is that you've got to look at what you're doing as bigger than what it is, because you never know. Tyler Perry probably never thought he'd be a billionaire. Okay, he just wanted to make a buck and get his word out about what he was doing, and now that brother's a billionaire. Okay, and we all got to watch it, and it was just a fantastic story. And you never know, what you're working on right now could become something just significant. These are his advice for building a blog. In one number 3, he says, stop asking how and why questions and start. Asking what and who questions, and start asking, he says, stop asking how and why questions and start asking what and who questions. Rose explains that looking at competitors and asking questions like, how did they do that, or why didn't I get lucky, are unhelpful, as you have zero control over the answers. Instead, ask yourselves questions like, what do I need to compete? And that's pretty good. And who do I need to hire to add quality content to my blog? Answers, and that will be answers to impacting your revenue. And really, that's one of the things I've been really doing. I'm thinking, who do I need to bring on to Black Success Magazine? And we're putting out a magazine, and really, I need some great people. I mean, really, if you like, and I'll get a shameless plug right now. If you'd like to be a part of Black Success Magazine, give me a call. You can send me an email. Send me an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. If you are a web designer, if you are a writer, if you're, photojournalist, all those things that take something in media, call me. Send me a note. Love to talk to you about what you can do to help with our brand. And because we know this is going to be just a powerful thing. Number 4, change the way you think about growing your business. Rose explains 10 times thinking, which you learned about from a quote from Dan Sullivan, a strategic coach. It's easier and more fun to 10x business and life than to double it. Oh, I like that. Rose says that if you're trying to grow by 10 or 20%, any steps you implement will have small impact. Consider growing by a factor of 10 to inspire big moves. Really nice. I like that. Instead of saying to yourself, I just need a little bit, think big, think huge. Think how can I make a quantum leap in my business in order to make it grow? I love this guy's thinking. I really do. That was Jeff Rose, and he, like I said, he had a blog, and his blog was able to leap not just a little bit. His initial investment was what? $509. And he was offered $10 million for his blog. And that's significant. I think what we do is we get, bogged down in life. We think that, the pie is only this big, it's like a small thing. And then we find out, oh my gosh, there is tremendous amount of capital out there. There's people who want to invest in what you're doing. And this is something, as a business owner, I just got to get this down in your spirit. There are people out there who want what you've got, but you've got to start getting it out there. You can't just put it in a box or focus on other things that are really not going to build your business. And as somebody who runs a chamber of commerce, I see this all the time. I see business owners who are not promoting their business. Promote your business. Talk about your business. Talk about what it's doing. Talk about your brand. Talk about your product. Talk about your service. Talk about it all the time. But don't just, because you can't expect people to find out who you are on your own. You've got to be out there. And that's really, so I'm going to run a little long in this segment. I know I'm going to do it anyways. But here's what happens. The great companies in this world are the ones that are audacious. They are out there in a profound way. Sacha Baron Cohen. Who else? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is a nut. And you know why Kevin Hart's a nut? Because you heard about Kevin Hart. Put it this way. I'm going to backtrack. Kevin Hart is famous because Kevin Hart is a nut. Okay? There's absolutely Snoop Dogg. Okay? Whether you like him or not, I'm not a big rap guy, but Snoop is audacious. Not just audacious, he is out of the box, off the chain, off the hook. The brother, he made up a new language. That's how out there he is. And you as a business owner have got to be the same. You cannot spend all your time going, you know what? I don't want anybody to know about my business. That's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You've got to be out of the box with what you do. You've got to be willing to push the envelope, set a new paradigm, be a change agent, be a disruptor in your industry in order to do it. If you're expecting to do things the way the guy in front of you did it, you're probably going to be behind him. Okay? It just doesn't work that way. You've got to be crazy. You really do. Now, we're not saying you got to strip down naked, butt naked, and run down the street, to sell your whatever you're going to sell. But we are saying this, is that you've got to think bigger. You've just got to think bigger in what you're doing, and that's just kind of a rule in life. Okay, we ran a little long in this segment. Hey, we'll be back in a second, folks. We're going to talk about an event or something we're happening tomorrow, okay, because you want to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we've got a special guest in studio, and you're gonna want to see this, folks. So, anyways, we'll be back in just a second, folks. This is Sherman Ray. Black Success Magazine. We'll be back in just a second. Oh, yeah. All right. So I ran a little long in that segment, but you know what? It's all right. And so, folks, you are here with me on YouTube Live. We're going to end a little earlier than we normally would for one reason. I'm looking at a new office space, and so I'm going to have to go really quick here, and we're going to give you the whole show. It's just that we won't have as long breaks in the middle of it. Okay? So we're going to get started. And thank you, folks, for who are with us on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And we're going to get going here. I got some things to do. Look at those folks. All right, folks, and welcome back to the show, the Sherman Ray Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And thank you so much for being a part of the show today, folks. We're having a good time here. We were talking in the last segment about a guy who just sold his blog for $10 million and sold it a couple years ago, I guess. But he really gave some great advice. We're going to talk about 50 lucrative blog niches. We'll just highlight a couple of them that might work for you. Because some of us are looking for niches, we're looking for places to write, that kind of stuff, and there's always a niche. I mean, there really is. When we first started with Black Success Magazine, it was this was interesting, and I think you're all going to. We've probably talked about this before. Is that we were looking for? 8 years ago, I started a networking group, and the networking group was called the Las Vegas Black Business Directory. And so part of it, I said, you know what, I want to write a blog that's associated with the Black Business Directory. And so I looked up in Google, and I thought, hey, I love Success Magazine, but I want something that really talks to Black business owners. So I wanted to look up Black Success. And guess what? Two words are not found together 8 years ago. What two words were not found together in a Google search? Black and success. I know, that's scary. That's scary. I went, you got to be kidding me. Black and success are not together in a Google search? This was 8 years ago, guys. 8 years ago, those two words were not together. So I looked up the domain name, Black Success Magazine. It, of course, was available because nobody thought about doing a magazine on Black success. Now there's Entrepreneur Magazine, there's Black Entrepreneur, Black Enterprise, Black, there's other ones, but there was nothing specific to Black Success. Black Success Magazine. You can look today after we started this, and of course we've got people who are just jumping on the bandwagon now. They're going, oh yes, Black Success, oh. But we were the first ones there, guys. We were the first ones there that said we are going to write a blog, and we're going to focus on Black Success, a Black Success Magazine for Black entrepreneurs. Okay, not that there weren't writings out there for Black people, but there was nothing there that said Black Success Magazine. And so we found the domain name. I picked it up and so what we've done now is this is what we do is we talk about Black success, and we talk about how to get people out there. Well, so I'm very excited about it. So there's always a blog for it, and now our podcast is all over the place. I mean, it's blowing up. We just started this podcast a couple of weeks ago, but if you look up podcasts that just say Black success something, we're number one. Of the top 5, I think we're 3. If you look on Instagram and you look for Black Success, you'll find us. We're the top. I think we occupy 3 of the top 5 spots in Instagram. I'm very excited about this. You know what this tells me is that there are there is a market. There's always a niche. There's always something, and we have a passion to talk about successful Black people. That's really what that's my whole passion in life, is talking about it, and telling people about it, and especially inspiring Black entrepreneurs, Black family people, Black people who want to, start a brand, start a product or something like that. That's really what my passion is all about. And so that's what we do. If you'd like to be a part of it, folks, our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like us on Instagram, like us on our Facebook page. Encourage me. Send me an email and say, Sherm, we love what you're doing. That kind of stuff. There's a article on HubSpot. HubSpot, give the Jay Fuchs. I hope that's your name, because I'm not going to say what it looks like, but that's what it looks like. Is Jay Fuchs gave 50 different niches that if you want to write a blog and you're looking for a niche, they say, you know what, there's tons of them. So let me give you a couple of them. Okay, these are some ideas. Career advice. Okay, definitely career advice. People love that. Learning employable skills. Okay, so if you want to teach people how to do certain things, employable skills. Professional social media tips. Those are always cool. I love those social media blogs. Study hacks. How to get, instead of you spending all day long, trying to study, these can actually help you out too. Concert reviews, video game tutorials. Video game stuff is huge. I mean, it is huge. Budgeting, frugal living, investing, personal finance, coffee. I used to be a coffee guy. I used to actually write a blog for coffee, and it was huge. I mean, I had a couple of thousand people a month who loved what we were writing about in my coffee blog, which was great. Craft beer, another huge one. Coffee and craft beer go hand in hand. They do. Let's do this. I'm going to take a real quick break because we went long in our last segment. But when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. And like I said, we've got a special guest on the show tomorrow, and I really want you to find out who this person is. So we'll be back in just a second. This is Sherm Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll be back in a second. All right, back in just a second, folks. I went a little long on that last segment, so. Whoops. That's not good. I think I dropped something there. Didn't break though. That's good. These are some great blogs. So if you're looking to do some blogging, folks, this is probably some good stuff you want to listen to. This is pretty cool. Huh. Oh, I wrote a book on that. All right, let's get back to the show, folks. I'm not going to hold you up here. I'm going to keep the ball rolling here, folks. All right, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Coming to you each and every day, Monday through Friday, about 8:30 to about 9-ish, something like that, 9:30. And so we were talking in the last segment about blog niches. And before we get back into that, I want to tell you about who's going to be on the show tomorrow. So on the show tomorrow, we've got Marcus Johnson. And I don't have his book with me. I was reading it last night. And I usually keep it really close to me because I'm really getting some good stuff out of it. He wrote a book called Flow. And Flow is for the love of. And it's really a brand. And so Marcus has got a great story. We're going to have him on the show tomorrow. He'll be here tomorrow morning at 8:30. So we will actually live stream that here on Facebook. So you'll be able to see that. But Marcus has got a great story. Love his story. Actually, I won't steal his thunder because it's really a great story about how this guy got started, especially how Flow, okay, FLO, the brand got started. Just a great story. And I'm going to ask him a story about Sheila Johnson. Sheila Johnson is many of you know, have heard of BET. And so she's the co-founder of BET. So she wrote the foreword to his book. I want to see what that relationship is because his name is Marcus Johnson. I have no idea if they're kinfolk, but I would love to find out what the relationship is like. Because if she endorsed him like this, there's something about this guy. So tomorrow, Marcus Johnson, be here on the show tomorrow. Be here and find out why this guy is so cool. Okay, so let's get back to blogging niches. You're looking to write a blog. When we first started the show today, we were talking about a guy who just sold his blog for $10 million. Not $10,000, $10 million. Started with $509, sold the thing for $10 million. And he gives some great tips on why and how and what you're supposed to be doing to write a great blog. And that's wonderful, but you've got to find your niche. Okay? And so we're looking at an article from HubSpot, which is a great marketing website. And they give you 50 different places or 50 different, niches that you can do. So we're looking at them. Makeup. So we're on number 23, makeup. Makeup, especially in the Black business or the Black community, you would be surprised how much money Black women spend on makeup and hair care products. I'm going to give you a little insight. 9 times as much on hair care products. So I don't need that. I've got my little thing going on here, but I don't need that for myself personally. But if you've got some stuff going on, you got some dreads, you've got some great weaves, stuff like that, it's a lot of money. Photography, writing, blended families. You never know. That might be something you're writing. Weddings, ethics, political opinion, which a lot of people, right now, let's not even go there because people are all over politics right now. Meditation, mental health, self-care, skin, okay? Skin care. And really, I think that's probably even more for Black folks is that we actually have great skin. I mean, some of us even have better skin. I have what they call a ruddy complexion. What that means is it's not perfect, but it's not bad. So they call it ruddy. So I can put a little hair on my face. Self-care, which is, especially right now, it's huge. If you dovetail that into extreme sports, personal training, running, cycling, which I do a lot of. My bike is actually in the shop right now. Those are great avenues that you want to look at. Anyways, you can look that out. Look that up on HubSpot and look for a blog that says niches. And, some great ideas there. They really do. So anyway, let's do this. Let's take our last break of the day, and we'll get back to the show in just a second, folks. It's Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back in just a minute. I know. Yeah. It's a good show today. I like it. Man, I love the blogging. Love everything we're doing here today. Somebody's going to get this. I have a feeling if you're watching us on Facebook or you're watching us on YouTube, I'm really encouraging you folks to get into this. Let me turn this down a little bit. So if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, and you are, if you want to expand who you are as a business owner, I encourage you, write a blog. I mean, write all the time. You will never know how much benefit it is until you actually do it. So, just make it something that you do. And I think what you'll find out is that you've got more to say and more people want to hear about you. There's not a lot of original content out in the internet right now. Usually it's written by just a handful of people and then everybody else kind of redoes what they do. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to be, no, Friday, I'm going to be speaking in front of, and this is, we're not recording this on our podcast right now, just for you folks that are with me right here on YouTube or on Facebook. But Friday, I'm going to be speaking for a construction company. So I'm doing a thing on diversity. And really what we're doing is we're going to be talking about how you can diversify your business and how you can expand your business, how good it is for your business to actually have a diversity platform, a diversity program in your business. And so I'm looking up stuff because I know a lot about diversity, but you always want to look for more stuff. So I'm looking on the big guy sites. I'm looking on the small guy sites. I'm looking at this HR site. I'm looking at, and you look for a lot of information and then you all put it together and then you do your presentation. Almost everybody is saying the same thing, which tells you they're all copying off one guy. So I said all that to say this: blog. You need to write a blog, an original blog with your original ideas, because there's not a lot of people out there who are writing original stuff. And that will make you iconic. That will make you what they call a unicorn, because you're not just copying and pasting other people's stuff. Don't do that. Write your own original stuff. All the stuff I put on Instagram, I put it on our blog, which is at blacksuccessmagazine.com. And don't go to that right now because somebody hacked my site, which is drives you crazy. And I've got a guy working on it right now. But all of the stuff we write is all original content, because really we are in a whole new vista here. We're in a whole new thing. And we should probably put this on the show. But it is resonating. It is resonating with an audience that needs to hear about it. That's, helping people become better business owners. Let's get back to the show, because we got to get going here. If not, you'll be here forever, because I can talk all day long. All right, folks, we are back to Sherman Black Success Magazine, the podcast. I was talking in the break here, folks, with the folks who are watching us on, who are live streaming, watching us on live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, and was talking to them about some stuff. So, folks, if you want to get the full thing of what we talk about here on the show, you need to watch us on live stream. We'll live stream. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be live streaming an interview with Marcus Johnson. And so Marcus will probably have no breaks. We'll just talk and we'll chat and we'll have some good times talking about his book, which is called Flow, for the Love of. It's just a great success magazine or a success book, and you'll want to check that out. Let's talk a little bit. What was I going to talk about? Shoot. There's something going on, and this is something I really think that you need to be a part of. It's called Excel, Black Excel. Yeah, Black Men, Excel, XCEL, Black Men Excel. This is going to be good. And it's something it's the first time I've ever been a part of something like this, but I think it is really worth being a part of. Speakers like Tiki Barber, Michael Vick, Bakari Sellers, Tristan Walker are in a virtual summit put on by Black Enterprise. Okay, Black Enterprise, one of the premier magazines for Black entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So if you want to be a part of this, so I'm going to read just a little bit about what they want to do in this virtual summit. But you want to be a part of this because it's going to be happening, what's today, 21st? It actually starts tomorrow. So it starts tomorrow and the 23rd. So I'm going to try to get into it as much as I can. Like I said, it's a virtual summit. But so it's the 4th annual Black Men Excel Summit. It's a virtual conference experience expanding the reach and impact of the national event. So the Black Men Excel Summit is dedicated to celebrating and advancing excellence, leadership, and the power of Black men. Now, this is important. This is so important because, and me being a man, I'm kind of biased, but in the last number of years, what you found out there's been a real push to promote Black women to the point where Black women outnumber the number of black men in college by a large margin. Black women are starting businesses quicker than black men by a large margin. In society, it's black women have been promoted and have been really focused on over the last decade or so, to the point now where black men are like, well, what about us? What about us? We got nothing. We're getting thrown in jail. We're doing this. What about us? So Black Men Excel is a conference that really focuses on black males. You need to really be a part of it. It takes place October 22nd, 23rd. Feature workshops, chat, training experiences designed to teach, equip, develop, and inspire black men into becoming leaders across a broad array of endeavors, from corporate America and sports management to tech industry and community organizations. I love it. I signed up for it. I signed up for it for one reason. I'm a black male. And because I've never been a part of something like this, I think that this is something you need to be a part of it. So what I'm going to do is this particular, we'll post this. Yeah, we'll post the link to register for this event below us in the show notes. Right after the show today, we'll actually post this so that you can be a part of it. You want to register for an event like this. It's a virtual event, which means you don't have to go to, wherever they're at. They might be in Georgia, something like that. But they have special guest speakers, like I said, Bakari Sellers, Tristan Walker. I think you're going to want to be a part of this. Scott Ford, the J.P. Morgan Chase Company Managing Director, Senior Vice President of Eastern Division, U.S. Operations, Chief Diversity Officer for FedEx, Shannon Brown, Fathers Inc. CEO, Kenneth Braswell, David Clooney. Actually, when I signed up, they said, "Hey, do you want to be a speaker?" And I go, "Well, no. I want to hear from you guys. I already know what I know. I want to hear what you guys know. I really think that this is going to be something that's going to be huge." So, like I said, I'll post this below us here in the show notes on Facebook, especially on Facebook. It'll be right below us. So, in addition to the link to the podcast, there'll be a link to this particular event. I think you're really going to be impacted. So, tomorrow, we're actually having on the show, once again, Marcus Johnson. Marcus Johnson is the author of the book called Flow, for the Love of. He'll be on the show tomorrow from starting about 8:30, and for as long as he'll come on and talk, we'll talk with Marcus. We'll live stream that, and you really will enjoy it. Friday, I'm speaking over at a Penta Construction has invited me over here in Las Vegas. So I'll be speaking on diversity. We're looking at an office space right now, which is really cool. Very excited about it. Oh, and lastly, if you are going to be in Vegas, November 14th, we've got the Entrepreneur Life, which is headed up by Rose McDonald, is going to be doing the Black Business Social Hour, which is going to be huge. I think KCEP Radio is going to be doing the simulcast on it. I'll be one of the hosts for that event, which will be great. We'll be talking about the Black Business Chamber. We'll be talking about success. We've got a lineup of great stars that'll be there. So we have singing, we'll have speaking, all that stuff. And that will be November 14th. Once again, I'll put that below us here on the show. And so I want to see there's opportunity to buy tickets, all that good stuff. So much. So, but we'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30, the Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you, folks, once again for being a part of the show. If you'd like to get a hold of us, send us an email at blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. Once again, that's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. Thank you once again for being a part of the show, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right. And thank you, folks, for being a part of the show once again. We will see you again tomorrow at 8:30, where we will have Marcus Johnson. Okay? So be here with us tomorrow. Talk later. Peace.